What's up, guys? Today we're going to run through a short dynamic warm-up routine that you can do right before a strength training workout. All right, so first thing is jumping jacks. This could be jump rope for a couple minutes, could be elliptical. It's just something to get your arms moving, get your legs moving a little bit, and get your heart rate up. So your jumping jack, start together, and we're right here. All right, so now we're gonna do a few exercises on the ground. So the second exercise in this whole sequence is called a rollover to V-sit. So for that one, you start on the ground, and it's gonna be kind of a backwards somersault. So I'll just do a few, you can kind of watch here. So rotate back, spread the legs, reach through. Back, spread the legs, reach through. So that's the rollover to V-sit. When you come forward, you're trying to spread the legs out, get the legs straight, and reach the hands through the middle. You should feel a little stretch kind of in your adductor and hamstrings. All right, next exercise while we're on the ground is just gonna be your standard glute bridge. So for this one, you're gonna lay on your back, hands out straight, so it'll line up your fingertips close to your heels, palms on the ground, and then we're just gonna bridge the hips up, squeeze the glutes, and then control to the floor. So I'm pushing through my heels, squeeze for a second, right back down. You want to feel this glutes and hamstrings and not a lot of low back. All right, so the fourth exercise in the sequence is called a bird dog, or opposite arm and leg reach. So I'm gonna take my right arm and left leg and extend both. Pause for 2 seconds, and then control back in. So I'm trying to keep my back flat, like you could have put a plate of food on it and it wouldn't fall off, and my core braced and tight. Full extension, back in. I like to think hand to the wall in front of me and heel to the wall behind me. So I'll do 8 on one side and then 8 on the other side. So the fifth one is called a fire hydrant, or a hip abduction. So I'm going to be on hands and knees again, and I'm just going to go knee out and back in. So again, trying to keep the low back flat, and I'm trying to move from the hip. And you should feel this hip abductor, glutes just on the outside there. All right, so next exercise is a kneeling dynamic hip flexor stretch. So I'm just on a knee here, belly button in, have a slight forward lean. Just make sure, don't arch back. We're gonna stay tight on the core. We're gonna squeeze this glute, push the hips forward slightly, and then relax back. So I'm going into it, holding for 2 seconds, and then relaxing back. And you should feel top of the quad, hip flexor right in here. So with that, usually go 10 on each side. All right, so now we're on our feet for the next exercise, and we're gonna do some stuff where we're walking on the turf. If you don't have space, you can just stay in place and do these, but I'm gonna show it walking. So the first one is a walking knee pull. So step, pull the knee, hold it for a second, back down, so a couple things here, just make sure we're not leaning way back when we pull the knee up. So belly button in, and make sure you just pause, feel the stretch a little bit, hamstrings. All right, next one, standing on the turf, is the walking quad pull. So this one, we're gonna take a step, grab the shoelace, give it a pull, hold it for a couple seconds. So it's gonna be more of a quad stretch. One thing that I like to add in on this sometimes, it's a little harder, but you can do a quad pull with the toe touch. So I'm gonna grab the shoelaces and then reach my fingers down towards my toes, come up, and then do the other side. So that toe touch is kind of like a single leg RDL, single leg deadlift. All right, third one standing on the turf is a cradle walk. So for that, we're grabbing the ankle and the heel, pulling up, holding for a couple seconds, back down, big step. Same thing other side. So you should feel a nice stretch here, outer hip. Also make sure we're not leaning back, so we're staying belly button in, tight core. Just like this. And again, if there's not room for you to walk around, you can just stay in place and you could be right here. So fourth one on our feet is a walking lunge to a Spider-Man stretch to an overhead reach. So it's kind of like 3 in 1. So for this one, we're gonna take a big lunge stride out, maybe a little bit to the side too. So lunge stride out, hands go down to the turf, back knees on the turf or just above the turf. And then I'm gonna rotate 2 times. My eyes are following my fingertips up here. So my eyes are following my fingers. Step together, same thing other side. Back knee on the ground or an inch above. Eyes follow the fingertips, just like a windmill. So this arm should be straight. Make sure you don't rotate way back here. Just go straight up and out. So last 2 are gonna be a little more dynamic, a little more movement. First one is a high knee run. So when we do running with high knees, we want the knee up high, toe up, and then get a good arm swing too. So chin to hip, just like you're sprinting. So here's that high knee run. All right, so number 2 is gonna be the butt kicks. So with the butt kicks, I still like to get the knee up, but then we're gonna kick the heel towards the butt as well, and still with the arm swing. So here's your butt kicks. So the last exercise in the warm-up is just gonna be laying on your back on the ground. I just call it a ground shoulder slide. So glute bridge position, like we did earlier. You're gonna lay back like this, and normally you're gonna have a little space between your low back and the ground. So you're gonna squeeze your abs, press your low back into the ground. Once we have that position set, then we're gonna go backs of my hands and my forearms against the ground. And then we're gonna slide up and make a Y. And then come down and make a W and squeeze. So W to Y. Here to here. And this whole time I'm trying to keep my low back pressed on the ground. Okay, you should feel a little bit of stretch, upper pec, front of the shoulder. And if you can only get to here, without lifting your back up, that's fine. Don't try to go all the way if your low back's gonna come off the floor. So squeeze the abs, keep that down, and then we're adding in the slides. So 10 of those.